exactly sure, but it'll be certainly after we pass the health reform, healthcare reform.
You expect it this year? No?
I would think so, yeah. Going to Rochester, which is a very new university, and so I won't be talking to that many students. And oh yeah, and UMD. Well, I haven't heard from students concerned specifically about this program. What I've generally gotten are students who are concerned about the level of debt they're going to be carrying after they graduate. That seems to be a very that's the leitmotif I get from students. I also hear from students who are working amazing hours while they're going to school, including a high percentage of kids who work full-time while they're going to college. And I talked to one student at MSU Mankato who gives blood twice a week, his blood plasma twice a week in order to do this. So, as President Bruininks said, there's lots of pieces to this. This isn't it. I mean, but this is $87 billion. This is a big chunk of money that really goes to banks and instead should go to students and making college more affordable and preparing, helping community colleges increase their graduation rate and other colleges, and it goes to Pell Grants, which I feel very strongly about, and the Perkins loans, which are lower interest, and also to early childhood education, which again has a tremendous return on investment. But I think this is just a smart, common sense thing to do. Minnesota has always been a leader in education, and to some degree, in our K through 12, we've been defunding it compared to what we used to do. And I think that I want to make a real commitment to education. I'm on the Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee as someone who was educated in St. Louis Park and really benefited from the great public education I got there through ninth grade. And I know that Minnesota has always done well when we invest in education. Education, infrastructure, and R&D. And this institution represents more than 2 out of 3 of those. Your scientists build our infrastructure. So this is very important to the future of our economy. This is very important to the future of Minnesota. Well, certainly anyone receiving a Pell Grant would. We would, right now, when my wife went to college, a Pell Grant paid for about 3/4 of a public college education. And now I think it's about 33% or something. And this would increase the size. I don't have the exact numbers, but I think it would bring the maximum Pell Grant up to $6,500 or something close to that. And that would be, it's $40 billion extra in Pell Grants. So about half the money from this, half the savings would go directly to helping kids who need it the most. And then the Perkins loans are also where a large part of this would go.
What about the ones getting loans, the direct loans that you folks have talked about? Is that going to be a different process for the students, or is that going to be the same process they go through now?
It'll be essentially the same process, except that it would be, there'd be, the money wouldn't be, there wouldn't be a profit skimmed off by banks. No, because they've already, as the President said, they signed on to this, 14 years ago.
So how many schools around the country would change?
In the whole university system, actually, right? the whole
Yes,
Minnesota system is
Yeah,
that way.
it's system-wide.
But it's enough schools in the country, I can't tell you how many schools or what percentage of schools, but it's enough so that we'd save $87 billion. So,
We have time for two more
I think that's
questions.
more than one school. It would actually, it's pegged to go 1% over inflation, and, then, that's another story, which
So
is.
what does Congress have planned to keep the rise in tuition costs in check?
Well, there, you know, as, I think as the President was saying, that we're beginning to level that off, we're beginning to address that. There's a whole bunch of different ways to address that. One is making sure that, that we have community colleges that feed into the universities. I think that's the subject of another day, but today I'm here really more to talk about this program. We're hearing some opposition, and I don't quite understand what the opposition would be. This is pretty simple, and it's really about where the money goes to. Does it goes to students, or does it go to banks and bankers? And then, and you know, remember, these banks or servicers would continue to service the loans, so there wouldn't be a loss of jobs there, a significant loss of jobs. It's really just as loss of profit. So I think there are some members of the Senate who do receive campaign contributions from banks, and they might be fighting this. And the banks are somewhat powerful, but this is really, in my mind, this is really just corporate welfare.
Are these mostly Republicans who oppose it?
I'm not sure, but that would be my guess.